All right, I've never seen one of these in person. So this, as you can see right there, it's a Toyota emblem on it. But this is a Toyota well, let me look in the back. It got smashed in the rear. This is a BZ4X. And what is that called? Limited? Or, yeah, limited. That's from the rear panel that got smashed. And I was just told that this shares the same platform as the Subaru BZ4X or something like that. And it's just a hybrid model. I'm not sure. Let's take a look under the hood. I'm not sure what this one. I think this has got to be see what this one is. I'm curious as hell. I want to know. Curious mind wants to know. What is this BZ thing? Okay, let's see what we got under the hood. Oh yeah, we're spanking hybrid here, and oh my God, look at that air conditioning heat pump thingamajigger. There's a whole lot of shit going on there, dudes. Okay, let's take a closer look at this. I was just gonna show you the hood and then shut the hood, but what do we got going here? So this has got some Toyota stuff going on here. So if you remember from the Prius Prime, we have this thingamajig here that goes to a thingamabob there, and a Zamboni bearing over here. So we got some stuff going on here. So I haven't taken one of these apart yet, and Prius Prime. So I would like to know what's in there, if it's some sort of muffler agent or a one-way valve or a suction throttling valve of some sort, because remember, it's a heat pump most likely. And we have two plate heat exchangers, and we have a coolant line going to one plate heat exchanger. We have a coolant line going to the other plate heat exchanger. We have, here's the refrigerant tubing going right to, looks like a sensor there. I don't think it's a valve, on or off. It could be a valve, or it could be a sensor. No, that more, it looks more like a sensor right there. Goes through that plate heat exchanger. I'm trying to figure out what is, here it is. It's right in front of me. This thing would bite me. So we got a 3-wire, and this is probably our electronic expansion valve. Let me see if I can get you guys some part numbers there. This is probably our electronic expansion valve. I don't think it's just an on-off thing. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 wires right here for this sensor. Do we have a expansion valve in there? I cannot see if there's a thermal bulb on that plate there, whether that's a real expansion valve or not. Look at the size of the line coming out of the dash. That's a really big line. That's not a little liquid line. Remember, we're talking heat pump here. Okay, here looks like it's another electronic expansion valve right there. And that's going to that line right there. So this plate heat exchanger goes off into the Netherlands, so I don't know where that one goes. And here we got like one of the Tesla octavalve thing. It's not really, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 coolant pipes going to this one valve. I don't think there's not a motor in there. How many? 1, 2, 3. We got 3 wires. Now, if that's not a motor, it'll be a valve that turns, and when the valve turns on this, that'll shift in what direction the coolant takes the path to get heated or cooled. Because remember, if it's in the winter time, you don't want some of your fluids too cold, you would want to heat them. If it's in the summertime, you would want them cooled. And then that'll depend whether this is operating in the heat pump mode to develop heat or add cooling. We got what looks, here's a motor right there. So there's an electric pump motor right there off the bottom of the coolant reservoir. And we got a big fan there, really nice big fan. What do we got for a condenser? Let's see. Now, I cannot see if that's a liquid water. I don't have my light on. I can't see if that's water or if that's refrigerant. Let's see if I have anything I could see. Well, we know this one is water, but I can't see in front of it. So I'm wondering if one expansion valve is doing all the work right here, and this other expansion valve right there, these are EEVs, electronic expansion valves, are doing the flip-flop between heat pump and cooling, and it's taking place inside the, what's the name of these? The plate heat exchangers, with nothing up here but coolant. So these lines somewhere along the line are running here, but never is there any refrigerant going up to this point. I don't see any refrigerant lines at all whatsoever going to the front. No condenser in the front. So this is where you could do propane. R290, R600, anything like that. This is a system that I've been telling everybody about that needs to be developed in the future. This is what my dad talked to me about in the 1970s. This is nothing new, where you could put a system into a car and have glycol plate heat exchangers, have your expansion valve right next to them, so there's actually no room, and you would do all your heat transfer using glycol. Now, the only thing they didn't do here is on this one, you see right here, they're using refrigerant. They're using what you would say a DX system right here. You got refrigerant going back that way, but you have glycol going to the condenser. You could get rid of the refrigerant going into the cabin and replace it by chilling water through a plate heat exchanger, and you can flip hot water or cold water to a evaporator coil inside, and that evaporator, that heat exchanger inside, will not have any refrigerant going in there, but it will have hot water or cold water. So then you could keep your refrigerant charge really low, like say 5 ounces, 7 ounces. And it could be propane, R290 or butane, R600. And you could have only a few ounces and only have glycol leave this part, go inside, and glycol would go to the front. So even if you did puncture any of the lines and you spewed out some, let's say propane, there would only be like 5 ounces. Get a handful of Bic lighters, and that's all the propane you would have in this system, because it would all just travel between these 2 points and be controlled by these 2 expansion valves, all within this one small system. And you could have the pump right all in a modular system. And speaking of the pump, where is it? So I got to get going, and I would like to find this pump, where they have the pump at. That will be interesting. So yeah, my first model, they got 720 grams of YF refrigerant inside here. So, interesting. All right, I'll see you guys later. But something to look forward to in the future. And a lot more of this is coming to your shop.